And we are live. Welcome everybody to the Monday Mastermind. We hope everybody is having a fantastic week, all right? Because we know that the week starts on a Sunday. No, I don't understand why that is. I grew up, I thought the week started on a Monday, and then I learned later on it actually starts on a Sunday. I'll never understand that because, you know, people go to work on Monday, you go to school on a Monday, you end on Friday. So in my mind, it starts on an actual Monday. But hope you guys are having a good week and glad that you've made it. And if you are there, please say hello in the comments so we can see you and say hello to you. I see that Andrew's on here. And hi, Andrew. Hope you're doing well. Guys, go and check out her website if you get a chance to. She's starting a brand new blog on with animals and teaching people how to deal with that. And she's ready to get that going. And she's also coming out with a book, so we're very excited for her on that as well. Okay, so we've got a really good session for you today. But before we actually get to our main guest, because we've got a special guest today, and I told you that it was going to be last week, I think I did at least. I'm just going to give you a clue. He borrows a lot of stuff. Anyway, so the first person I want to bring on the panel to say hello is dear old Pops. Pops, how you doing? You're not as red as you were the other day.
Fantastic. I'm doing great. Yep, business is well. Life is good. We're in a good, safe place. Can't ask for more. Living my dream. What else can a guy say, right? It's fantastic.
Exactly. I mean, you're kind of, I'd say, living the American dream, but you're really not driving around with a picket fence and a roof over your head. You're driving around, you know, with an RV. So what would that be? The alternative American dream?
Yeah, well, I could be living on a beach, but that's all right. That can come in the future. For now, I want to just travel around the country and haven't been able to see yet. That's the important part to me at the moment.
Cool. All right. So thank you, Pops. And with that being said, Mr. Jamie Shaw over there. We will get to Katie Lady just after him, but he's next on the line. Well, not really next, but anyway. Mr. Shaw, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. It's Monday, and of course we have a special guest here, and it's going to be an exciting night, like always. I'm sure Dave's our special guest is going to rip our new minds open with some strategies that he's been using. And, you know, I've had a pretty good week. You know, I'm buried in income tax crap. You know, it's that time of year you got to start doing your income taxes. Start getting all your records together for your business expenses and all that stuff, and I'm up to here in it. So,
isn't that like, is your taxes on the 1st of April?
Yeah, they're due April 15th or 18th or something like that. So,
okay.
But if you don't get started on them early, they'll drown you by then. So,
yeah, you got some really strict tax laws, I got to say. I mean, we don't, you know, you guys, like, if for tax evasion, people can go to prison there, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen yet.
Yeah, but
doesn't happen yet.
President Trump has changed all that. We're supposed to have some new tax laws next year. So we'll see.
Okay, cool. cool. So, yeah, we actually, if somebody doesn't pay the taxes over here, they just get a fine. They don't get put in prison or anything like that. So there's none of that. You don't get it. There's no prison for tax evasion. Okay. Same as Canada, as I understand it. Man, that's got to be quite frightening. So you really need to be on top of your taxes. Anyway, so now we come to Katie Stage, or whatever your name's going to be today. How are you doing?
I'm super fantastic. Thanks for asking. I hope I'm not choppy, but the internet is a little bit weak where we're at. But I just want to say hi to everybody in the comments. And if you are watching this, go in the comments and just kind of type and say hi. When you start typing and you hit enter, it's going to prompt you to log in, and you can log in with your Twitter account, Facebook, or come in as a guest with all fancy numbers and stuff, and we can try to guess who you are. But go ahead and say hi anyways. But yeah, our week is, we're just pretty close to the Everglades. There's Lori. Hi, Lori. There's Sheila. Hi, Shumila. I want to say hi to Ricky. Oh, wait, he's here too on the panel. But anyways, he's in the comments. Say hi to Pops. Say hi to Jamie. Say hi to Dave. Say hi to Katie. See, now I'm saying hi. And I know that Andrew's here. I want to say hi to Andrew. Get to your face, Andrew. Come back to the workshop.
Yeah,
back to you in the studio.
Yeah, and yeah, Lori. I know Lori is brand new and she's getting ready to get started. I know Shamala is just kicking it in her business, and a whole bunch of other people that are here as well. Maria is over here. Well done. She's also hammering it very hard. And guys, today we have a special with us, and we're going to start calling him Rocket Rick, because this guy is just to the top. He is going so far, and I can tell you right now, my hope for Rick is that he absolutely passes every single one of us. And he is doing so well, and I know he's just going to be a major success. And part of the reason I got Ricky on here today is because Ricky has reached another milestone in his business adventure. If we remember a while back, we had him on, and he had started collecting leads in his business, and he had started to really already gain some success. And now, you know, he is making his first dent into this business, like a real dent, and he's making a huge difference in his own life. He's building his dream, and you know, he lives in Massachusetts. Very nice person, and I couldn't speak more highly of him. He's full of integrity, and I got to say that Ricky, we're really proud of you, and we just want to say welcome to the panel. And why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, and then we can go from there.
Well, thank you, Dave, for that introduction. I certainly have. I would not be here without you, Katie, Pops, and Jamie, and all the workshop warriors. You know, all your support. I have definitely learned the value of getting involved into a community where everybody's working on themselves and teaching each other and showing each other how to become better at your business, and learning how to just grow and work on yourself more than your business. And when you start doing that and you start putting aside like the thought of making money and just focus on being the best business person you could possibly be, you know, the thought of money goes away, and then money actually starts flowing in. And that's really what I've learned throughout this industry. And it really came down to that. There was the big shift for me was when I decided to just create valuable content, but also to be over prepared in order to be ready for that perfect prospect when they show up, and to make it happen. And because of people like you and so many other influential people inside of MLSP, it just has been, it's been my breakthrough.
Ricky, talk to us about how we actually got in contact with each other, like because I know it's an interesting story, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, but talk a bit about that, and then how you actually progressed from there.
Sure, I'd love to. Well, from the beginning, about 4 years ago, I was working a very good job. I was getting paid very good money. I had an amazing shift as an electrical technician. I got a job that I did not think I was going to get. And it came to a point where it's like I was making really good money. And there was just something that went wrong at that job where things just started looking a little bit hairy with my employer. And in that time, I was working with another electrician who was a hired contractor, and he was sharing me I was kind of venting out my frustration to him. I was like, you know, I'm making good money at this job, but I really wish I had a second income that I could make money elsewhere. And he ended up pulling out a business card, and he was showing me, he's like, I'm doing this. And it was an affiliate marketing strategy for selling electricity. And I had no idea what it was. I was like, sell electricity? How could you possibly do that? And as and like they wanted you to pay money to buy the training, get in the system. And at that time, I was like, you know what? It's just not for me. But that was my first introduction to the idea of making money elsewhere other than a job, and where you could be your own boss, you could be your own employer. Now, I didn't have any motivation to leave that job. And it wasn't until shortly after that. Now, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about what this guy was saying. And I got fired from the job that I was at, the good paying job. I was really good at my job, but they pulled me aside. I actually pointed out an electrical fire hazard that was really bad. And I said to my employer, I was like, look, I saw this fire hazard. I locked out the power, and I'm going to take care of the problem right away. He then pulls me into a room, and he says, we're letting you go for, I'll never forget this. He says, we're letting you go for reasons that we're not willing to discuss. Just like that. I was so mad. I was so confused. And then I had to go. I was building up so much respect from, you know, my wife at the time. And she was, you know, she was just like admiring me. She was like she was really happy and pleased with me, because I had been fired from jobs before, and I've been fired from multiple different jobs. So to be fired again from a job when you're doing really well, it just really sunk deep into me. And I said to myself, I was like, I was doing everything right that I could possibly do. I was showing up to work 10 minutes early. My boss asked me to do something, and he still fired me. And that was like the moment where it really took off. That's where, and I have not lost that tenacity at that point 4 years ago. And I remember driving home, and my gut was just sinking into me. And I knew that as soon as I pulled in, I parked it. I was home early because I had gotten fired like pretty quickly. And I walked upstairs. I could hear my wife vacuuming. And I remember just that feeling of putting the key into the door. I turned the handle, I pushed it open. She saw me. I waved her down. And she says, why are you home? And then I told her they let me go again. I was fired again. And that look that on her face was just the most gut-wrenching feeling of any man. No man should ever have to say to his wife, again, I got fired again. Nobody should ever feel that feeling. And I felt it. And I was just disgusted with everything at that point. I went out on my porch. I was angry. I was looking at the trees. I could feel the breeze. I could feel the sun on my face, but I wasn't. I didn't. I was so mad. I could hear the birds singing, but I wasn't singing. I just felt anger. And then I blurted it out. I don't know where it came from, but I suddenly said, I'm going to figure out how to make money online. I had no clue what I was talking about. No clue. I just said, I'm going to figure out how to make money online. And I will someday never have to work for an employer ever again. And then madness just took hold of me. Like the tenacity, like it just accelerated in me to. Now I eventually got another job like within a month, and I was able to get it done really quickly. Actually, no, it wasn't a month. I was actually in school. No, wait, what am I talking about? No, it was a month later. It's like I'm rehearsing other jobs that I got fired from. But I did. I got a job a month later, and I was able to start working right away. And I was blessed at that job as well. I done really well. But every video, like every day, I just was on YouTube searching how to make money online, how to make money online. And it drove me out of my mind to just like, there was no clarity. I could not understand certain like like things that people were saying, like affiliate marketing and building your list. I didn't even know what leads were, like I couldn't understand what all this concept was. It was just so hard to get started. It was just, I had the drive, but I had no knowledge, no understanding as to how to really get this thing going. And I got to a point where I just accepted, I realized this, and I just completely accepted it. It was overwhelming to me to do this without a mentor. That was the time when I found a particular company that Dave was in, Katie and Pops were all in, and I had gotten involved in this company. What happened from there was I tried to reach out to the guy, my sponsor. I was reaching out to him, sending him emails. I was trying to connect with him. And then there was just no communication whatsoever. Well, what am I going to do? I'm looking for a mentor. I'm looking for somebody to connect to. Is anybody going to help me in all this stuff? I needed help. I need help. So basically, I just kept staying with it. I just kept listening to all the webinars. I kept listening to all the audios. I realized that I needed to buy training. And I still was trying to connect with the mentor. And then I heard, so I ended up selling my beloved Gibson electric guitar. It was a Gibson Studio. It was just a 2007 guitar. It was just the best guitar I ever owned. A friend actually bought that for me. He saw that I had a guitar that wasn't working, right? Because I was jamming out with him. He bought it for me. And so we could just play together and I could have a good guitar. I'm like, wow. It was really amazing. I ended up selling that guitar. That it meant so much to me. I love playing on it, and I miss that guitar. I sold it just so I could get the training. I could buy training. And when I got into it, I was like, I paid all this money for a bunch of videos. I was like, what am I getting myself into? I thought there was going to be something so much more than all this. Like, is this really what people pay hundreds of dollars for, to watch these videos? So I said, look, these people are making tons of money. I know their story. I believe it. Let's just see what happens. I started watching the first video, and oh my God, this really is why people pay all this money for all these trainings. It's because they show you exactly how they're making the money. People are looking on YouTube. I don't really waste my time with that anymore. I spend time focusing on the products that I buy, because this is the real stuff. These are the real people. This is the real community of people that actually get results. And they tell you what they're doing. And so I was fascinated with it. And that was my first digital product that I bought. So as I'm learning and as I'm studying and as I'm taking notes, I'm reading more books. They like, go out and read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a great book. So I went and bought Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a fun book to read. I got that and I couldn't put it down. And then as I just progressed, one of the, they have like I forget what they called it, but they would have like a kind of like what we're doing. It wasn't on a webinar. It was like a podcast, whatever. And I would listen on the podcast, and one of the guests was a friend of Dave, Pat Patterson. And I heard Pat's story, and I couldn't stop listening to it. Pat goes into the details of how he was injured on duty, and he loved his job, but time and chance happened where he was on duty, and he was almost killed on the job. And the doctor told him, you can't work anymore. You have to figure out what you're going to do. Then Pat decided to, long story short, he found the system that everybody else was in, and then they were starting to make money on the internet. So he started a show. And as he started a show just like the one you're watching right now, Dave was a part of that show. Now, when I first saw Dave, I thought he was some serial killer from South Africa, and I couldn't believe that this guy is actually on this show. I was like, how in the world did they get this dude on this show? Like, aren't they scared of him? Isn't he gonna say something mean to all the kids that are on this show? I was like, I can't believe this. What's happening? Oh, what did I pay all this money to get into? My life. All right, so what ended up happening was I followed this group of people, and this is where it gets really interesting, because I followed these people every Wednesday. I watched all their webinars. I got really, really involved with it. I was commenting. I was asking questions. I was curious. I want to know I want to know more. I want to learn. I want to just, and I knew that if I were to get close to these people, if I were to connect with these people that you're watching, if I were to connect with these people, then I would be able to get results. I knew it. Because if you're around certain people, if you start modeling what they do, you're going to get their results, whether positive or negative. I'm not saying they're doing anything negative. I'm saying in general. I'm saying if you're around negative people and you model their behavior, you will get their results. Yeah. All right. So, so anyway, what happens is I sent out a friend request to them, all of them on Facebook, and I connected with them. And it got to a point where I just started Experter, and he's coming to the States and he wants to meet me. So, sure, I'll take you to the range, we'll have fun. But anyway, so what happens is I connect with all these people, and I actually reached out to Pat Patterson, and I was sending him messages, and he was not responding to me at all. I assumed he was either really, really busy, or he just didn't see the messages or something. And then I saw that Dave was online. So what ended up happening was I reached out to him, and I said, you know what? Let's just see where this goes. And I tell him, I'm like, hey, I'm a spammer, and I'm looking for innocent civilians on the internet to take advantage of them. You don't look like one of them, so I'm trying to figure out how to manipulate you or something like that. And he's like, man, that was brilliant. You should totally brand yourself. Now, at that time, branding myself still was like foreign language. You could have said it in Russian and it would have been the same. It would have had the same impact on me. When there's an episode of SpongeBob when Patrick has some kind of SpongeBob had this worse breath, and he spoke to him, and it had no effect on Patrick whatsoever, and it burned his eyebrows right off. That's what happened to me. When I hear the word, you got to brand yourself, you got to build your brand. I was like, what? So what ended up happening was he's like, why don't we get on a hangout? Why don't we just talk? And I'm like, really? And then he sent the link to chat one-on-one. I saw the link, and I was like, this dude actually wants to talk to me. These people want to connect with me. He's really reaching out to me. And he's so I was like, okay. So I clicked on the link, and lo and behold, there's his face with the American hat, and in the background, and I'm like, oh my God, it's really you. You're really there, and I'm really talking with you. And that it was that connection that really sold me. Now, Dave didn't know anything about me. He really, you know, he may have seen me in like the comments or something, but like he had no relationship to me. But I've been following these people for 6 months. I said, and we talked, we chatted, and we had some like we actually had a lot of things in common. And I said, Dave, are you with MyLeadSystemPro? And he's like, yeah. And so I said, look, Dave, just send me the link to join. He said nothing. He said absolutely nothing about, you know, hey, you need a blog, you know, you've got to make videos, you know, you've got to do this, you know, with this heavy South African accent. And then I responded with my American accent, like, well, yeah, I mean, I want to go and do that, but I'm a little nervous, you know? So what ended up happening was he sent the link and I joined, just like that, just like that. And he didn't have to do anything. He didn't build any. It was like he already put the value out there, and I was ready for a mentor. So as I jumped into this, I just started getting into the training. I started learning attraction marketing, which you're learning about attraction marketing. And what ended up happening was I started to develop a skill. I started to learn more about why people do business with other people. It's because business, whether online or offline, it's all relationship based. It's relationship based business. So if you want to make money on the internet, you have to improve on your communication skills. You have to build rapport with people. You have to learn how to get people to respond to you. It's not just you're gonna hear if you've been in this industry long enough, you're gonna hear a lot of junk. There's gonna be a lot of junk training out there, and they're gonna teach you to go, you know, look. You got a phone. You got a list of 100 contacts in there. You know, go call them all and pitch them your opportunity. That is horrible. Then they'll say, well, you know, you run out of prospects, then go to Walmart. There's plenty of sharp people at Walmart, so go to Walmart, go to the grocery store. Everybody's a prospect. That is such a lie, and that is not true at all. Not it, you know, there are people that are interested in certain products, but you have to connect with those people before you go out and market them to them. They got to know who you are. They gotta trust you, and they gotta like you. And then that removes all the objections to buying. So in MyLeadSystemPro, you learn some very basic you learn those 3 basic things of building your audience, engaging with your audience, and selling to your audience. One of the things that I've learned from Dave and so many other people inside of this community, which I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful that we have this community that it still amazes me that even after like a year and a half, 2 years of being like we have a little Facebook chat and we're always talking every single day. And we have a little workshop they have on Saturdays, you know, for everybody who's in the system, you know, everybody's joining this thing, you know, everybody's interested, everybody's getting involved in this online business platform. And it's because of, you know, the information that all these people have, and that the results that they're sharing, and the strategies and everything. It's just, you know, just you want to get in, just get in. So what happens is the community is always there, always encouraging, and always pouring out that if the training that they learn, if somebody learns something new, they put it in the chat. If somebody learns something new, they talk about it on the Saturday morning workshop. And we're always celebrating each other's success. And one of the things that they're always teaching is to be over-prepared. Be over-prepared. You must be over-prepared because you don't know when you're going to be called to serve your audience, because, people's problems, they do exist, and they happen at random. So what ended up happening to me was I accepted the fact that I need to create content in order to attract people to me. What's the difference between me and the guy on stage? What's the difference between you and the guy on stage? The guy who's making millions, hundreds, 86 million. You look at these people who are going up on stage and they're just wealthy. I mean, they literally have, you see some of the videos where they have like cash, like just like hanging out on their hand. You've probably seen some of those videos where they got just like wads and wads of cash. What's the difference? The difference is information. So if you get into a system that shares information on how to get results in your business, starting from the ground up, working your way up, connecting with the community, investing in your mindset, investing in the time to work with a mentor, you're going to get results eventually. So what ended up happening was I just kept absorbing the knowledge, the wisdom from these people, and I just kept training myself, getting myself ready for students and how to teach them. And so what ended up happening was I ended up getting about a month ago, I had like a chest cold. And I know that there's this amazing bone broth that they sell at the local market, at the local grocery store. Now, this bone broth is just like, it's divine. It is like instant medicine. Like when I drink it, it's called Fire and Kettle bone broth. And it has chicken and mushroom, and the flavors that are in it are outstanding. And especially when you're sick, and you drink something that's like instant medicine, it's like so good. So I knew that their particular grocery store that I would get it at is closed at the hour when I was getting out. So I actually searched for a local health food store, and lo and behold, like I was like 100 feet away from it. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So I look over, I'm like, there it is. So what ended up happening was I walked in there. Now, mind you, like I actually was wearing my work clothes, and I had like a beanie cap on, and I had this big black jacket, and I was tired, and I had like kind of like dirt on my face. So now I look like the axe murderer going into this place. So Dave is like rubbing off on me, and like now I'm coming into this place. So I walk in there, and I could tell that the lady felt a little, awkward, because when she looked at me, she kind of looked at my, persona, and just realized like, and then I quickly realized, okay, I gotta just, I'm like, I'm looking for a bone broth here. Do you have any here? And she says, oh no, I don't have any bone broth. And I was like, well, I'm looking for a couple of the supplements. Do you have them? She's like, oh yeah. And as she was talking, there was this guy at the counter, and he said the most astonishing thing to me in that moment. And he was venting out his frustration for an internet business. He was saying along the lines of like, I didn't say a word, and I was just listening, and I heard him say, he's venting out to the cashier. He wasn't saying anything to me. He didn't know who I was, and he said, I really just want to connect with a mentor. And that's when my head turned, and I was like, you want a mentor? And he's like, I just want to learn the ins and outs of business, and I don't know where to begin. And I'm like, is this really happening? I was like, is he really saying this? And I'm right here looking for the most random thing that this place does not have. And so then he's like, if I could just find a mentor who would just show me what to do step by step, I would follow everything he'd have to say. And I'm like, so, and this is where being over-prepared comes into play. So what ended up happening was I looked at him and I didn't pitch him anything. I actually pushed him away from the opportunity. I actually said to him, so why do you want a mentor? Why do you want an internet business? You may want to write that down, because like if you're going to ask that question or come into this circumstance, then you really need to, you should be asking those questions. Why do you want this? Because that puts you in a position of authority, like you don't need them. And that's what I ended up doing. So I said to him, so why do you want to do this? And he's like, oh, you know, I'm at a job that I don't like. I don't want to be here anymore. The aluminum dust is really just like getting to me and all that. And he's like, I just can't see myself, making money with this anymore. And I was like, okay, let's take it a little bit deeper here. Like, what else? Let's just go a little deeper. Like, why else do you want to do this? It can't just be for money. And he's like, well, I don't even care about the money. I don't care. I just want to help people. I just want to be in that place where I can have a business where all I do is help people. And I was like, so if you were to have a mentor show you exactly what to do, would you follow his exact steps? Now, what I did was I just took what he said he wanted and I just spit it right back at him. He's like, I'm looking for a mentor. I was like, so if you have a mentor, and he's like, I just want to follow his instructions and do what he has to do. I was like, so if you have a mentor and you do exactly what he tells you to do, you see that? That's all I did. And I said, you'll follow his instructions and you'll do what he says. And he says, yeah. Right there, I paused. I made it look like I was thinking about what I was going to say. And then I said, I'm looking for students. I'm looking to teach people. I've had people wanting to know what I know. And I can get started tonight, and I can show you from the ground up on how to actually get started and all this. And he's like, I'm ready to do this. And I was like, you can't try this thing. It's something that you actually really want to do. He's like, no, I really want to do this. So what ended up happening, I said, okay. So he gave me his number, and I said, I'm going to go home. And he's like, I was like, first, I'm gonna go to the next store over, and I'm gonna look for my bone broth, and I'm gonna call you when I get home, and then I'm gonna let you know. I'll send you a link to join, and then we'll get started. Now, I didn't say to him like, oh, okay, I'll go home right now, and we'll get started right now. I was already busy. I was already doing something, and I made it seem like okay, we'll get started, but I got a few things I have to take care of. So, positioning yourself in a as the authority, and that you really don't need people, because if you perceive that you don't need people, they're gonna say, oh, he's got something. He's got something. You've got something. And so what I ended up doing is I couldn't find the bone broth, so I said, screw it. So I went home and I lost the guy's number. I put my hands in my pockets. There was nothing there. I went out to my car. His number wasn't there. There was snow all over the ground, so I'm slipping around trying to find this thing, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Now, somebody may end up saying, oh, whatever, I'll give up, whatever. But I was like, I gave this kid my word, and his name is Tom, by the way. And if Tom's here, you're awesome, and everybody loves you. So what ended up happening was I kept backtracking to what what was I doing? What was I doing? And when I went out to dinner, and I remember like having my bag with me, the bag that they give you in. And so I took it, and I thought, I was like, maybe I put it in the bag, because I threw the bag in the trash. So I go over, I look into the trash, I open up the bag where my food was. There was his number. I grabbed the phone number, I give him a call. He, I don't think he answered it at first. And then I was like, I lost him. He probably saw the phone number, didn't know. And I was like, okay. And I was like, we'll just keep moving on. So then he called me back. And then I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I was like, this is cool. And I was like, I'm like, okay. So I answered the phone, and we started talking. And I was like, you know, Tom, I believe you that you're serious about this. And as long as you follow my instructions, I will be with you, and I'll take you by the hand. I'm gonna be showing you, like, what you're gonna learn is how to get on like a bike with training wheels, and I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna be teaching you where the pedals are, how to grab the handles. Always look forward. Don't look anywhere else, and just keep pedaling. Keep pedaling. You're gonna fall off the bike. That's okay. I'll pick you back up, and you're gonna keep pedaling. You're gonna keep pedaling. You're gonna keep going. Gonna keep going. And then sooner or later, you're gonna stop doing circles in the driveway, and then you'll be able to like ride down to your friend's house. So, and that's the analogy that I use, because that's what was simple and coming to me at that time. And so I sent him the link to join. I was like, you know, Tom, I could send you a link to a video, but from the sounds of it, you're ready to get started right now. And so he says, all right, send me the link. So I sent him the link on his phone. And then I remember the training that I bought. Okay, so remember when I went back, I sold my guitar. I bought this training on how to close people. I remembered it. I remembered what it said me to do. Because if you don't know how to close people, you're just going to say, okay, here's the link. And if you don't know what to do with people after that, they might not join, you know, because they're confused. Like, as simple as it is, people can get confused. So I tell him, all right, it's like, okay, you see the link? He's like, yeah, I see the link. Click on the link and tell me what you see. All right, he clicks on the link. He says, it looks like some kind of order form. I was like, okay, go ahead, fill out the safe and secure order form, and then hit the submit button. And as soon as he did all that, I got a text message from MLSP. It's like, congratulations, you just got an MLSP sign up. And I looked at that, and I was totally blown away. I was blown away that I was like, this is where it's going to begin. This is where it starts. You know, it's being in the right place at the right time and making those connections with people. Now, you don't have to be offline. You could be online making videos. You could be creating content with your blog. You could be using, you know, the wonderful tools and system inside of MyLeadSystemPro to teach you how to connect with people. So from there, I started to work with him every single night. I devoted some time with him. I call him up, and then I showed him only what he should be focusing on. And that's just one strategy, and connecting with getting your mindset in the right place. Just then, that was the big thing. Getting the mind, basically greasing the gears between the ears. You're just getting that all ready to go and putting it into motion. And I didn't put too much on him, and I just kept writing all sorts of stuff. And he was giving great feedback. He's like, this information that you're giving me is like, what you just gave me is worth like $1,000. He's like, I can't believe you just shared this information with me. And within all the training that I bought, it's probably around $1,000. So like, it pays to just learn a skill. Learn a skill. You got to learn a skill in order to really start fulfilling your dreams. You got to learn a skill, and then you got to help other people solve their problems. Because what my team member didn't know what to do, I knew what to do. And when I first got started in this industry, I didn't know what to do. And by the time I actually found a system that actually was legit, I couldn't connect with that mentor. That guy just would not talk to me, wouldn't answer my emails, nothing. But with this system and with this community, everything comes in line. You know, the mentor, the community, at least among this group, we have this awesome network of friends who are becoming more like family, and we are just learning from each other, and we're making mistakes, and we're sharing each other's success, and we're always commenting on everybody else's Facebook posts when they get results, and we're building each other up and boosting each other up, and it really pays to learn a skill. So if you're on this you're obviously on this webinar, even watching this entire time, and you're ready to get started now, there's a link, there's a button below that says get started now. Go ahead, click on that button, fill out the information for the order form, and just get started right now. That way, when you get started fresh with this group, this community, you will be on the right path to to start learning a skill to develop your mindset and getting yourself on the right path to making money on the internet. Because if you try to do it on your own, you can go on YouTube just like I did, and you can struggle just like I did for 6 months to 4 years, and you can ask all sorts of questions that nobody's going to be answering, and you can go through that, and you have to have an incredible reason why you want to do that, or you can get started right now. You can get started within this community. You can get started with Dave. If you've been listening to Dave, he's the reason why I have a large majority of my success. It's because he worked with me. He showed me a skill, and I've been able to just leverage YouTube. I would not have been able to learn the power of YouTube without Dave. So from here on out, it's just like I foresee nothing but an increase. And Tom is just like, so he's amazing. He's an amazing student, and I truly believe, and I'll put a bow on this. Like if the teacher is ready, your students will appear. If the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So it goes together. So with that, Dave, that's definitely if you have any questions, let me know.
Well, one thing and I got to say, first of all, that was an amazing story, and I'm just absolutely blown away from it because it's filled with so much truth, and I believe a lot of people watching are just absolutely blown away by it because it is real and because you are so authentic. Well, one thing I do want to mention, and that Ricky didn't mention in his story, and this is the, when you said at the end, when the student is ready and when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. That is so true. And I got to say that, guys, for those of you who are watching, when Ricky got started with MyLeadSystemPro, he was so excited about it. He had the exact right attitude of helping people. And what he did is he took what he knew and he taught it to his mother. He taught it to his mom, and his mother produced results before he did.
Yep.
See, the key thing here is this. The key thing is that he wanted to help people, and that was evident in the fact that he was willing to put himself out there. And that's what happens. Before you start to see success, you absolutely need to know that you need to want to help somebody else. And that's where I believe it comes from. And that's where Ricky's example of his success comes out of the fact that he wants to help. And when he was ready, this, as he says, the student will appear. And that's exactly what happens. It's just like, and Ricky, when I got started in this industry, one of the tasks that I took on board was I became support for a website. So I became support for a website in that I had to help people. And only after I started helping people on a regular basis is where success followed. And man, that's just amazing, man. And everybody here appreciates that. I don't know if perhaps Pops or Katie or Jamie wants to say something, but that was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I might be lagging, but I just wanted to say, Ricky, that was very inspirational, and I got goosebumps. And a couple of times where I just wanted to, like, just like, maybe, am I going to cry? What's going to happen next? I mean, it's just so powerful, that just the journey that you went through. And here's this guy's having the same journey. You immediately just clicked into action from all the training that you've learned, and was just completely focused on his needs and not your own. Like, yeah, you were looking for broth, that's fine. But then all of a sudden this guy was like literally crying out for help, and you're like, I got you, dude. I'm going to reach out my hand and I got you. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that still. And I just think that's amazing. And that's the kind of group that we've kind of built that around, because we've all come in a history of being misfits, where we've been there, done that, where people aren't willing to help us when we need it. And so it's always nice to have those people, us surround each other with people that are just helping each other. So I'm glad you're with us, Ricky. That's awesome. And I can't wait to meet Tom at the workshop soon.
Yeah, and something else I want to add to that too that I didn't mention is that I had been this journey was full of resistance, and if you have an unsupportive spouse like I did, like I had a very, very unsupportive spouse, and we just could not agree at all at the direction of where I was going. And if you're going through that time, I know how you feel. I know exactly how it feels to be in a position where your spouse actually takes your keyboard and then smashes it against your monitor. That's how bad it got. And she would knock over stuff, and I always got the speech. I always got told that I was doing everything wrong, and that we even went to a counseling session to a pastor to tell me to stop pursuing this. That's how bad it got. And I said, I am not going to stop pursuing this, because I'm helping people, and I'm going to get paid to do it. And I'm going to live a debt-free life. I'm not going to borrow money ever again. And there's nothing you can do to change my mind. It's like, well, what if God wants you to borrow money? And I'm like, no. And then the answer to him was, well, I've never, in all the 40 years that I've been in this ministry, I've never seen a more clear form of idolatry in all my life. So I've got my spouse against me. I've got a man that I actually respect, a preacher, telling me all this. And I'm in this situation of just like hostility. But just like I was saying earlier, it was just like all that hit me, and it had no effect, and I took that into consideration, and I was looking at myself, and I was just like, am I really going down a path that's like self-destructive? Am I going to put people on a path that's just morally dangerous? Am I going to be showing people something that's going to hurt people? Am I actually going to do that? And I thought about it. I looked at all my notes. I looked at all the training. I kept thinking about it, and I kept praying about all this. And the answer is no, because I'm serving people's needs. I'm helping people with their problems. I'm showing them a solution to their problems. I'm not showing people how to get worse. I'm showing them how to get better. I'm not showing people how to stay miserable. I'm showing them how you can get out of your financial situation and start living a better life. You don't have to borrow money to get the things that you want. You just have to you're just lacking a skill that you need to just invest in. And that's really what it comes down to. I really love what Mike Dillard said about how if he was down his last $500, what would he do with it? Would he buy, clicks for his landing pages? Would he buy leads with that? Or would he invest it in a skill? He's like, immediately, he's like, I would invest it in a skill. I would take that money and I would invest it. And I've heard that story over and over again. People have like their last $500 in the account. They go to an event, they buy the training, and everything changes from there. And this is where you're going to make the best decisions, is when you just learn a skill and take it, and it will be blessed anywhere you go. Online business, offline business, you are in control of your, the direction of what your life.
And I was I was at the brunt of that. Remember, I was called a scam.
Yeah,
as well.
you were. You heard it too. So Dave knows. Dave and I were on a hangout, and then he actually heard my spouse banging on the door, saying what? What was she saying, Dave?
Oh, yeah, that I'm a scam.
Yeah, it's a scam. He's a scam. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's a scam. Now, this is a person who would not do any research. They would not take any kind of consideration to prove it. They're just protecting their own beliefs. They protect what they want to believe. And, all right, that's what they want to do. It all comes down to, what is the end result? What's the end result? What if you get this, if you join, if you get in the system, what is that going to get you now that you don't already have? So with that, just get in.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just I want to ask if perhaps Pops or Jamie wants to say something, or ask you a question or statement, or.
I don't have a question, but I do have a statement. Your presence, and you articulate very well, and you have good stories, and that's going to carry you a long way. That's a skill that you have developed, and I actually much better than when you first started with us, because you have an opportunity to talk and share your stories on the platform that we have, and wherever else you do outside of our platform. And it shows that you've grown so much, and your skills, like you said, you invest in a skill and it'll show its results time and time again, as opposed to buying those clicks. You're wasting money, throwing it away. And it's just obvious what this industry and your fortitude and what your desire has done for you. And of course, your God and your divine prayers or whatever you use to connect yourself. And I think I know why you got fired from that one job. I think I figured it out. Even though they weren't willing to share it with you, I believe I have it down. And it is that the guy you turned down his opportunity, your boss was his upline, man.
There goes my commission. That would have been $1,000. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that was great. That was awesome. Jamie, you want to say something?
Yeah, Ricky, I remember the night you come on my hangout on my show, and we kind of talked back and forth. And You were on the road, I think, if I remember right. You were traveling around in the RV, and you told me that night that you were going to do this. Nobody was going to stop you from doing this because we talked about your wife and the scam statements and stuff like that, you know. And I told you, you know, that if she was truly loved you, that she would come around and support you. But if she didn't, you know, it was time to move on. And looked like it was time to move on because what you said that night was you were going to do this no matter what. You were determined. And I believed you at that time, you know, and the growth I've seen over you out of you over the past year has been tremendous, you know, and I just want to say, keep it up, buddy.
I appreciate that, Jay. It means a lot. You know, from one scam artist to the next. Thank you.
I gotta say, this has been an absolute treat for all of us. It's just been amazing, and you definitely have improved, man. I mean, so much. I was holding on to that story the whole way through, and you heard parts of it before. I was like, man, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And we appreciate you, man. And just so you know, we're proud of you. I know that you're gonna pass everyone. You're gonna soar like the eagles. I promise you. And that's my hope. And the whole idea is, and we say this to everybody. We say this to everybody, that our goal is to get rid of you. Our goal is to kick you out because we want you to expand yourself to reach the place, and because, you know, we don't want to keep everybody bottled up. And man, everything of the best. I just we got to end this right now because we're on the top of the hour. And guys, please, you know, make sure that you get on here next week, because we're going to have another guest on who has also reached a certain amount of success in our group. And I'll just say that she is going to be on here. I don't know if I should say the name. Should I say the name? I don't really want to say the name.
Keep it a secret.
Keep it a secret. Yeah, okay. So, well, yeah, well, anyway. So we're going to have a guest on next week, and please make sure you get on here. Make sure you share this with your lists. And if you have a list, make sure that you send this hangout to your list, because I'm sure people will want to hear this. All right. I'm certainly going to do that a few times this week. Thank you so much, Ricky, for being on here. And everybody else, we're going to say goodbye. So cheerio.